Good morning. We are getting ready for another weekend. This is Friday morning, 6:18 as of the very large green sign right there. It just happened to flash over as I went, oh, what time is it? Because I have been fiddling here in the car for quite a bit this morning. I thought I fiddled with it yesterday enough, but not. More fiddling was required. I don't know how to fiddle. I don't know how to play any instrument. Anyway, I was messing with the mounts, which you could see, hands free, both hands on the wheel, eyes forward, actually paying attention today, making sure I do that from now on going forward, because not that I wasn't paying attention before, but this is just a better idea. I got a mount for the camera. It's a dual suction cup, very strong, like $50, so worth it. It's got two different fully rotating ball joints, so I can put it pretty well anywhere I want, and then I put a actual rotating ball tripod head onto it so I can get even further into getting it exactly in the right spot, which is great, and that works out fantastic for that. And so the GoPro that I've been using has been on just a suction cup that it came with, which again I took from my girlfriend who's no longer using it, and I'm using it now. It's been for the last few weeks that I've been using it, and I've been taking videos of the drives so I could show, like, this is the surroundings and this is the nature and some cool time lapses and things like that, just kind of give a broader idea of what it is that I'm doing. The only way I've been doing it, and I have no idea how this has come out because I haven't edited any of the footage from it yet, but I put it the way that the mount is with the curves and the angles. The only way to stick it to my very slanted windshield is to put it up on the top facing out, and then the camera's upside down. So I tried everything I could when I came out and installed this suction cup mount yesterday to fix the other one, and I thought I had it where I was like, what am I doing? Why am I putting it on upside down? Why don't I just move it to here and then have it come up around the backside and then it's upright, and I don't have to take the footage and rotate it all the way around in post, which hopefully comes out and looks fine. But every way I did it would not work. It was either going to be looking at its own tripod mount or this new mount or putting it somewhere else. It was just a whole nightmare. I'm probably going to look into getting another, like, that thing doesn't weigh very much. This thing weighs a lot, well, comparatively. So I probably can get a fairly cheap suction cup mount for the GoPro that has these nice rotating ball joints. Another thing that I thought of that I wanted to fix, going back to the DSLR that's on here, mirrorless. Anyway, going back to the camera that's recording this, it's now mounted because of the whole thing stems from this car. As much as I like it, everything about it, the entire dashboard has this porous texture to it. It's not smooth at all, so no suction cup will stick to it. And I don't want to start drilling holes because there's airbags, and I'm not about to mess with that. And also, one day I will sell this car. This isn't the car I will have until I die, I assume. I'm not going to damage the resale value or anything like that. So anyway, with it being over the dashboard, there's probably a lot of car things from a shotgun mount, noises that it's going to pick up. The rev of the engine, if I have the air going, anything like that will probably be a concern. So I picked up, I may have talked about this a little bit last week, but I figured out how I hopefully fix that. You can't really tell because it's so dark. You'll be able to tell on the drive back home when I do the end of the talking bits. I have a lav mic on, which came with the wireless setup that I bought, which I'm excited to get out and use today. The wireless pack that is transmitter and receiver also has a place to plug in a mic, because typically your point of it is to give it to an actor or someone who's going to be out talking, and they'll wear the little pack, the battery pack, and have a lav on them. Instead, I took the lav and I plugged it into an old Zoom recorder that, once again, I took from my girlfriend because she's not using it anymore. She, as a music instructor, and it was in marching band and things like that throughout college, has all of these recording things that I never really thought about audio that much, and I'm thinking about a lot more now. One of the things that we are specifically going to do today is record audio. I've got mics in the mail on the way, but for now we're just going to test it out with the shotgun mic that I was already using, but it will be off the camera. I've brought the second tripod. I'm going to set that up. It's got the mic, it's got a recorder to go with it, it's got battery packs, and it's a whole thing. I'll get into that at some point and show everybody exactly what I'm doing. But I'm also, you know, like I said, I've ordered mics. They're going to be two. This is just a big shotgun mic, which is very directional. Point it, you know, it's more meant to be like, this is the direction, especially in film work. That's what they hang. That's the boom mic. That if you ever see them doing that, it's a shotgun mic. It's very directional. You point it at them, you'll get what they're saying without too much background noise, because that's really all you want. I need everything, because A, I don't know what direction something is going to be in, and B, it helps with ambiance and things like that. So this is a whole new learning experience, but I did pick up two kind of smaller, opener mics. They're not as directional. Those are coming at some point, and then I'll try those out. I'm a little concerned about the wind today. We've got about 15-mile-an-hour winds that will decrease throughout the day, so we'll see if I even get anything today, but it's a good learning experience. I'm going back to the same place I was last week. The weather is much nicer. It wasn't even bad last week, but I'd say it's warm considering that... It's funny that I say it's warm because it's like 32 degrees, which for here apparently is warm. I didn't feel the need to pack in many layers, and I feel comfortable when I was loading up the car and everything. So we are going back to the same place as last week. The snow is pretty much all gone around town as it is, and there was definitely no snow there, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to hike up and over the little, I got about a half a mile. I mapped it out on Google Maps. I should be able to get over to where all the wildlife went when I showed up anyway. They all kind of went to the far end where people don't usually go. So I will make my way that way and then get into the blind and set up, and we'll see how that goes. Since I already have, because there's nothing I love doing more than if I'm already gonna set up and take something, I might as well overdo it, which I'm a little concerned about the whole weight that I'll be carrying. It was a little tough, but I'll just take my time when I'm hiking. I do mean there's an uphill, so it'll take me a few minutes, but it should be okay. Anyway, I've already set up clamps and things like that on this recording rig. I figured if I'm going to be doing the sound, and I've set up that so that theoretically it should be able to run for the whole time that I'm out there, I brought an old phone, a Pixel phone that I had that I do not use anymore with a specific purpose, and this is the specific purpose, completely wiped it and everything, and I'm going to set that up on a backup battery, and it should be able to record to the full extent of, well, whatever the phone can hold, because unfortunately they did away with being able to put SD cards in there and expand the storage. So if this becomes a thing that turns out really good and actually like works and is, you know, cool footage to just have as like, here's 3 hours of ambient wildlife noises or, you know, nature noises and video that just put on in the background. That's kind of the idea. We'll see. It's a test today. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. I'm not too worried about it. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I think that's about everything I had to say here. We're gonna go ahead and drive out to where I need to go and prepare for a little bit of a hike today. Good stuff. All right, welcome back. It is the afternoon. It has been about 6 hours almost. It's a bit longer than usual, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be staying out for longer. Hopefully I see more. It's the only way that mathematically can increase my chances. Let's go past this car here. Oh, okay. Pull over. I thought I locked this down, but apparently not. Maybe after I was fiddling with it. It sure does a lot of bouncing. And we're back. I'm hoping, I'm noticing now in the daytime, and also I'm on a pretty bumpy road. A lot of up and down movement there on that camera, where it's suction cupped to the windshield. Gonna hold? Yeah, I guess so. Anyway, a bit of a mixed bag today. I saw stuff, but I didn't pick the best spot. I was figuring, from coming last week, this is the reservoir where I was last week. And boy, it is pretty. My thought was to go across the dam like I did the week before, and then I kind of settled in right next to the water there, thinking, okay, well, all the birds that were there will come back. Well, they didn't last week. But this week, rather than staying up at the reservoir part, I went down to the other side of the dam to the river. My plan, what I was talking about earlier, was to my plan was to go back on the same side where I was, but go up over the hill and then down on the other side. No, there is no down on the other side. Now that I'm here and I'm not just looking at it on Google Maps and I'm, actually able to see it in person, and I pay attention to that, which I wasn't doing last week, where I saw the hill going up and everything. On the other side, it's basically a drop-off. Or you would have to go, I assume I could walk around it, but the whole thing just gets higher and higher to go all the way around to get to there. And I have too much stuff with me to do that. I still probably hiked a mile, maybe not that far. I don't think a mile, because I wasn't, maybe a mile in total. It may have been a half a mile, kind of judging on the fact that that's what I was mapping out. Maybe less. Maybe I did about a half a mile today. I don't know. Either way, no. Going up already is a challenge. Going up and then trying to find a way to get back down while carrying all this stuff is just dangerous. It's not even, it's a challenge, step up and find the way to do it. No, it's straight up dangerous. I'm not a rock climber. I don't have any experience doing that. It would just be unwise to do something like that. So I decided to go further down the river then, down from the dam, and try to hook up, try to set up there and see what I could see. And that's where it was kind of a mixed bag. There were way more people fishing there, which is what I saw last week. I was thinking, I hope that I didn't just blow out my mic here with all my AC in the background, because I forgot to turn the air conditioning down. Whoops. Just in case, this might get cut, but to refresh, sum up very quickly in case all of my audio was just ruined from the fact that I had the AC full blast and forgot to turn it off before I started recording. Bit of a mixed bag. Went out. You're gonna try to pass me before the lane ends? No, you're not. But I'm sure you will here in a minute. Went out. Instead of going on the reservoir, I wanted to go up the hill. I talked about it on the way here. I was going to go on the other side, but it was just basically a straight drop off on the other side. It's not safe. It would be unwise for me to even attempt it. Going all the way around would take, I don't even know how long, and I've got so much stuff with me, and I'm not in that kind of shape currently. Working on it, but it's just, I'm not ready there. So, what I did see, I went down on the side on the other side of the dam where the river was. There were a lot of people fishing there. My thought was I was here last week on a Saturday, and that's why there were so many people fishing, because it's the weekend. I'm thinking maybe Friday, less people. No, I think a lot of them are older and retired, so days have no meaning. They don't work. They're not doing that. It's just whenever they feel like getting out there. And, you know, far be it for me to tell them what they're going to do. Have that. So I went down on the riverside, and I found a spot along the bank. I was by myself at the beginning. No one else was here, but more fishermen started showing up the longer it went on. Getting closer and closer to where I was. Not much I can do about that. We all got to share. Some of them were more polite and saw what I was doing and tried to avoid it and were quiet. Well, everybody was quiet, but specifically going around and trying to stay out of where I was looking with the camera and things like that, being polite. Others not quite so much. But I won't go back there again, not to that spot anyway. I know now. I still managed to get some good stuff, unexpectedly. Let's see, I started out in the beginning and I saw some geese pretty farther from me, but I had planned for that. I brought the 300 millimeter lens, and I used that. I put that on the camera with the 2x extender, so effectively 600 millimeters, and that's not bad. I really like that. I would greatly do that again. It limits me in the fact that there is no zoom capabilities. I am locked at 300, but as long as I've already found a subject and I'm not hunting for it, it's not bad to do. And I used that for the majority of the day, pretty much all of it. I saw some other things. There were some songbirds that I hope came out. You know, I set up the spot that I picked. Let me take it back, try to go in the sequence of events while it's still fresh in my head, which is why I do these right after and not just weeks from now when I'm editing and I've forgotten entirely what happened. But I got set up. I wanted to set up the audio, so I went a little further away, maybe 30, 40 feet down the river. And I figured I would be looking to the left, so I put the mic and everything to the right, and I put the phone to do the ambiance, which I don't even know if I have a 3-hour recording of other people fishing, I'm not sure how well that'll come out, but we'll see. The audio didn't work at all because I thought I tested this. I was pretty sure that I did, but when I hooked it up to the battery that I've got, because I've got the recorder, and then I've got a separate battery, and I plugged it in through a USB cable, every time I turned it off, it would start up, and it'd be like, okay, cool, what do you want to do? You know, it gives you the option, it's a selector. It's like, I recognize there's a USB plug plugged into me. Is it for storage? Because I've got a large, a hard drive, or, a big expandable, a big expandable card or something like that hooked up to there. Do you want to use as storage, or do you want to use it as an external power source? And I chose the power source because that's what was plugged into it. And it would start and it'd show me the opening logo, and then it would cut off immediately. And it just kept doing that every time I tried. I don't think it could pull enough power out of that, which I looked, and yeah, all the USB ports on both the V-mount battery that I used to use, I'm now using for this. The V-mount battery itself has a plug, and then the plate that it sits onto and shares power through that has the on-off switch has a plug. Both of the USB plugs on there are marked at 5 volts. So just right off the bat, I kind of should have thought about that. If I'm using the shotgun mic requires phantom power, which is 48 volts. And now I wasn't great at math, but I'm pretty sure 5 is not enough to get to 48. There's a slight difference there. So I might have to figure out an alternative, and I'm not sure what to do yet. I'm gonna figure that out when I get home. I'll run some testing with it. I'm also not gonna be using the shotgun mic on that anymore anyway. I'm gonna use other mics that I don't think require phantom power that'll come in next week, so that'll kind of cut it down. So the audio is just out right off the bat, but oh well, I've been doing it without decent audio for such a long time. I think my solution is I'll put the shotgun mic back on the camera, so I've got a reference point that I can use to sync it afterwards, and then I'll do everything else on the 2 mics that I'll be getting in the mail, and everything else through them I'll wirelessly send and just use that as my 2 ports and record in stereo. Anyway, it's a whole technical nonsense that I'm not 100% sure on, because it's just theoretical in my head right now as I'm planning it after doing this today. So that's why I don't have any audio for that stuff. But what I did wind up seeing, video-wise, songbirds, the geese I already mentioned. I got 2 things that... I got one thing that I know came out... I got one thing that I'm really hopeful that it came out. Pretty sure. It was me guessing, looking at it, but I had the 300 on, so 600 with the extenders, everything, and it went right across from where I was sitting. I chose a spot on the bank, and then there was kind of a little island out there, you know, a good 40 feet away, maybe 50. So I was doing that, and it came swooping in and landed, and then started drinking water, which, great. I think it was a northern flicker, maybe the yellow one. It didn't quite look that red, and I didn't see any bright red when it was taken off. So I think that's what it was, but I think that was crisp and clear because it was sharp. It was very close to me. I was able to really fill up the frame with it. I hope that really came out because it looked really good. I saw a robin that I watched kind of do the same thing, drinking out of the water. That's what I resigned myself to after a while, where I was like, all right, well, this is what I am. I got fish are on the left of me, fish are on the right of me. I'm stuck in the middle, and that's fine. I'll look across the middle and see what I can see there. And I did actually spot, and the footage I spotted it, and by the time I looked at it and I got it on the lens, and I went, all right, here we go. Let's start focusing, and it dipped back in the water. But it was a beaver. It was a smaller beaver than I saw at the other week. But hey, there's a beaver. That's pretty cool. So songbirds, beaver, and then as I was getting ready, I got this won't come out at all, but I'm gonna put it in anyway because it's really cool. An osprey. I didn't notice what it was at first because there were gulls all over the place, and it looked kind of like that, but then I realized it was darker and there was a gull chasing it. So I missed it entirely. I don't even think it was on my side of the river where I could have seen it when it did swoop down. But I caught it at the end. By the time I was able to kind of narrow in, it had landed on the top of a power line, a pole, a telephone pole. I don't know if they're actually telephone lines, but it was on top of that, and you could see it had a fish in its claws. Like, well, that's cool, talons. It had a fish. And I was thinking, oh great, it'll start eating it, but no, it took it and flew off with it somewhere else. I assume because the gulls were kind of hovering around me and like, hey, I want a piece of that. I'll take some of that. I can be annoying until you give me some. I don't know why I'm giving a personality to the gulls, but anyway. So I saw that was really cool. And then as I wrapped up after, 5 hours or so, and started breaking everything down and got everything there and then loaded up, and boy, it's a lot to carry. I gotta kind of figure out how to redistribute that weight a little bit because I'm doing the best I can on strength training, but hey, I am lazy. I can manage to definitely do it 4 days a week when it's a work day. I don't have a problem doing that, but those extra days on the end, weekends are tougher to get me to do anything if it's not coming out and doing this, which counts. I'm still carrying things, but anyway. Point being, it's heavy. On the way back, carrying everything, I started walking up, and then I see, I'm like, look, there in the sky. It's eagles. I think it was 2 of them. It was kind of hard to tell. I basically just dropped down I was carrying the camera in one hand by its handle, and then I had the big tripod and the blind in its sheath bag in the other hand. And then I kept trading off because my arm would get tired, and I just walk another 40 feet and then stop and go, all right, let me catch my breath. So one of the times I stopped, I looked up and I saw that, so I grabbed the camera and put it on my shoulder, and I did some handheld shooting of the eagle as it kind of went around, which was cool. So assuming that came out, because that's iffy. It was further away, it was kind of going all over the place. I'm real shaky on it. We'll see if I got anything, but either way, I learned several lessons. This was a good learning experience, as it always is when I come out. I'm going to try to figure out a power solution for the audio. I am going to see if there's anything I can do to lighten my load a little bit. I think that's about it. Yeah, good day. I'm heading home. Fade to black.